In this video, we're solving problem 3.1.11 from the Essentials of Statistics text, 6th edition by Mario Triola. We're asked to find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range for the data set given and answer the given questions. We're told that listed below are selling prices in dollars of TVs that are 60 inches or larger and rated as a best buy by a popular magazine. The question says, are the resulting statistics representative of the population of all TVs that are 60 inches or larger? If you decide to buy one of these TVs, what statistic is most relevant other than the measures of central tendency? So I'm going to show you how to calculate all of these measures of central tendency by hand, and I'm also going to show you how to calculate them in Excel. So first we're asked to find the mean, and I actually did that in a different video. But I'm going to show you again how we get this mean of $1,437.50. So I will stop sharing this screen with you and start sharing my paper with you. This is what we did. We take all the data values, we add them together, and then you say there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, there are 12 values. So you add them all together and divide by 12. I did all of that on my calculator. I added them first, and then I took the answer and divided by 12, and I got this $1,437.50. So that answered the question, trying to get back to it. That answered this question right here, but we can also answer this question using Excel. So let me show you how to calculate the mean using Excel. If I want to calculate the mean in Excel, the first thing I'll do is I will click this little icon and I'll select Open in Excel. And I'll say, yes, please open it in Excel. And then it brings up Excel for me. Notice that they don't put a title on the column. So if you just look at the numbers on the left-hand side, it tells you what N is. It tells you what that sample size is. N is equal to 12. We've got 12 pieces of data. So what I want to do is I want to find the sum of these. And I'm just going to make that cell yellow just to differentiate it from all of the cells where my data are. Yes, I think so. So I want to find the sum of these first, and then I want to divide by the number of data values that I have. So I will select right here. And I zoomed in a little bit so you could see a little bit better what I'm typing. And then hit equals, and then SUM. And then open parentheses, and then you want to select the cells that you're interested in. I want the sum of all of these guys, so I just pull on that corner and I sort of drag it. And that has selected this range of values from A3 to A12. Close the parentheses, and that's giving you the sum of the values. Now we want to take that sum and divide by 12 because N was equal to 12. So we can do this divided by 12. Ooh, I think, did I miss some values? Oh, I started with A3, not A1. So let's do that one again. So I'm going to click equals sum, start with that A1, and I want everything from A1 through A12. That makes a lot more sense. And then I'm taking that and I'm dividing by 12. That's what I entered right here. This cell, I just highlighted it, divided by 12, and that got me the mean. Now, if you ever need to count your values, like if you weren't sure that that was 12, if this column didn't happen to be right here where it was obvious, you can always enter equals count, open parentheses, and then select the number of cells that you want to count, close parentheses, and it'll tell you that the count is 12. So you can take the sum of those cells, and that's going to give you the sum of the values. And then you can take the count of the cells, and you can take the sum of the cells and the count of the cells and divide them. So here's one way of doing it. Let's do the sum of the cells there. And then over here, I'll do the count of the same cells, A1 through A12. And then for the mean, I'll say the mean is, I want this value divided by this value. You need to put that equal sign there, otherwise it won't calculate anything for you. Then hit enter and it calculates it. It gives me that 1,437.5, which is the same thing that I got when I did it by hand over here. Okay, so let's go back to the homework question. I think it was this one. There we are. Now we want to find the median. Remember how we find the median. In order to do that, we need to sort these values. And then we need to find the middle one on the list. But since n equals 12, there are going to be two middle numbers. We're going to have to add them together and divide by 2. We'll find the mean of those two middle numbers to find the median of the entire data set. So first, you have to sort these. Smallest to largest. So I'm looking for the smallest number on this list. It's that 1,050. And then the next largest one, I think it's those two 1200s. And then we've got 1250. And then 1350. And then we've got some 1500s, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then you've got a 1550, a 1750, and a 1900. So we sort, and then we cross them off in pairs. So we don't want those two, we don't want those two, we don't want those two, we don't want those two. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it looks like I missed one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 1500s, not 3. There we go. Cross out these two guys, and the two in the middle are 1500. So to find the median, you're going to do 1500 plus 1500 divided by 2. But of course, the mean of two numbers that are exactly the same is just that number. So the median is 1500, and that's how we would do that by hand. Let's go back to that question again. See if it likes it. Okay, it says well done. Now I'd also like to show you how to do this in Excel. A couple of ways. So I've still got my data set over here. One thing I could do is I could copy that and paste it. And then once it's copied and pasted, I could use this sort feature. There's a little button here that says sort. And I'm going to sort those numbers from largest to smallest. And then I can like check them off one at a time, 2 at a time, just like I did on my paper. So those guys are gone, they're a pair. Those guys are gone, they're a pair. These two are a pair. And I'm looking for the middle two numbers. So this guy and this guy are gone. And then this guy and this guy are gone. And so we see that the median is the mean of these two. So you add them together and divide by 2, which we know that's going to be 1500. That's one way of doing it. You can also do exactly what we did here when we were calculating the sum and we were counting. There is an Excel function called the median. So you can write equals here, median. See, it even popped up for me. Open parentheses, this set of numbers, and we know the median is supposed to be 1500, and we got 1500. So that's how you can do that by hand, but it's really important that you understand how you get the median. You don't just use Excel to tell you what the median is without knowing what that number is and where it came from. So it's good to be able to do it by hand here, or to do it by sorting the data in Excel yourself. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go back to the homework. And now we want to find the mode. When you're finding the mode, you're looking for the number that appears the most often. So we had that 1050, it only appeared once. So I'm looking at each number and then I'm looking at its frequency, how many times it shows, how many times, excuse me, it shows up. So it's 1050, and then we had two 1200s. Then we had a 1350. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 1500s. A 1550, a 1750, and a 1900. So we're right there. The mode is 1500 because there are 4 of them. That is the price of a 60-inch plus TV that appears most often, at least in this data set of 12 selected TVs. Okay, so let's go back to our homework and say the mode is 1500. Okay, and then we want the mid-range. Now we can find the mid-range by hand as well. And we just said that the mode was 1500. And remember how we do that. You take the maximum value and the minimum value on your list and you divide by 2. So we've got this 1050 plus the 1900 divided by 2. We just add and divide by 2, no big deal. Make sure you add in the numerator first and then divide, or use parentheses. Otherwise, it'll only divide that 1900 by 2 if you're not careful. And we get 1475 as the mid-range. Okay. Now, before we go on, I'd like to show you how you can calculate the mode and mid-range in Excel. I actually don't know if Excel has a mid-range on it. I need to share the right screen with you. I was sharing the wrong one. Okay, so let's use Excel again. All right, let's see if it can calculate the mode for us. Pretty sure it can do that. Say mode. Ooh, mode multi, excuse me, and mode single. I bet that means there is, like, it calculates the mode in 2 ways. I bet this one will allow for multiple modes. Let's try that. Gave us 1500. Okay, that's good. And let's see if it has a mid-range function. I don't actually know if that MID is a mid-range function, but let's see. Too many arguments for that function. I guess mid is something else. Mid-range. Nope, apparently it doesn't have that. So you just have to find the max and min, add them together, and divide by 2 without Excel's help. But you can see now that Excel can help you find the mode and the median. It has direct commands for both of those. The mean can be calculated by taking the sum of the values, taking the count of the values, and taking the sum and dividing by the count. You can also use Excel's mean function, so put equals in that box and then type mean. No, actually, I think Excel likes the word average for this. Average, even though statisticians don't use the word average. according to Mr. Triola, and see we get exactly the same value that we get when we add these values together and divide by 12. Okay, so that's how we do that in Excel. Let's go back to our homework now and finish the problem. Okay, they're giving us good feedback. That's good. All right, the last question says, are the resulting statistics representative of the population of all TVs that are 60 inches or larger? Choose the best answer below. In A, it says the sample consists of the best buy TVs, so it's not a random sample and it's not likely to be representative of the population. Since the sample is random and the sample size is larger than 10, the sample should not be considered to be representative of the population. Since the sample consists of the best buy TVs, or it says the sample consists of the best buy TVs, so it is a random sample and is likely to be representative of the population. And then last one says, since the sample is random and the sample size is larger than 10, the sample can be considered representative of the population. The only one that I think really works is this first one. The sample does consist of TVs that were rated as best buy TVs. So it's not a random sample. This might be, these measures of center would be good measures of center for the population of best buy TVs, but it would not be good, these would not be good measures of center or representative measures of center for all TVs that are larger than 60 inches. So I think A is our answer. And we're done. Maybe they'll ask us one more question. If you decide to buy one of these TVs, what statistic is most relevant other than measures of central tendency? Choose the best answer below. It says the highest price is a relevant statistic for someone planning to buy one of these TVs. No, it's not really that important what the highest price TV out there is. The difference between the lowest price and the highest price is a relevant statistic for someone to buy one of these TVs, like the price range. Okay. The price that occurs the least frequently is a relative statistic for someone planning to buy one of these TVs. Not really. The lowest price is a relevant statistic for someone planning to buy one of these TVs. I would say that's pretty relevant because I want to know what's the least expensive one among all of the best buys that are 60 inches or larger. So I would say that one. Yes. And my lab statistics agrees. So that's it for that problem. And I'll see you next time.